All right, so for number 7, we have the function f is defined by this lovely function right here. And for part A, it's asking us to write an equation for the line tangent to the graph of f at x is equal to 6. Well, you need two things. You need a point and you need a slope. Finding the slope is probably going to be the easiest thing right now because you're just going to take the derivative of this and then plug in 6. So 36 minus 18 minus 10. And if I were to do that, I'll get 8. So our slope at x is equal to 6 is 8. Now we need to figure out what the y-coordinate is. In order to do that, they give us that f of x is that integral. So I'm going to do the integral from 0 to 6 of t squared minus 3t minus 10 dt. That gives me 1/3 t cubed minus 3 over 2 squared minus 10t from 0 to 6. I'm not going to plug in 0 because if you look at this, I have a t here, I have a t here, and I have a t here. That's just going to be 0, kind of irrelevant. So I'm just going to plug in 6. Now, that's kind of nasty for me to simplify. Am I going to simplify that? No. Here's the reason. It's an FRQ, okay? So you are just going to say y minus this whole thing, okay, is equal to your slope of 8 and then x minus 6. And call it a day. That's your slope of the tangent line. The AP graders will have to eventually simplify that to make sure that your answer matches up with theirs. But, you know, that's that. All right, part B says find all values of x at which f has a critical point to determine whether f has a relative minimum, a relative maximum, or neither at each of these values. Justify your answers. Well, perfect for us. We already have the first derivative. That is x squared minus 3x minus 10. So I am going to go ahead and set this equal to 0 to find my critical point. Lucky for us, hopefully we know how to factor. That gives us x is equal to 5 and x is equal to -2. Now, also lucky for us, because this is just a simple parabola, I can make a parabola and then make my sign chart through that parabola right there. So this tells me that at x is equal to 2, f is a relative max because f prime of x changes from positive to negative. On the AP exam, actually write it out. Don't shorthand it, please. That's one of them. And then the other one is at x is equal to 5, f is a relative min because f prime of x changes from negative to positive. And call it a day. All right, C is asking us when the graph is concaving down. That's even better because our first derivative is just a quadratic, a parabola, which means that it's going to get even easier because our second derivative is just going to be 2x minus 3. Set that thing equal to 0. X is going to be equal to 3 over 2. Because this is a linear function, you're just going to draw your linear function right here. And then we are going to see that f concaves down from negative infinity to 3 over 2 because f double prime of x is less than 0. And then part D says, let g be the function defined by this lovely thing, and then you want to find out what g prime of pi over 4 is. So we got to take the derivative of this using chain rule. So we have f prime of tangent, and then using chain, the derivative of tangent is secant square of x. G prime of pi over 4 becomes f prime of tangent of pi over 4 times secant square of pi over 4. Now, on the AP exam, you could leave trig functions unsimplified like this. The problem about this one is that this one is not fully simplified just yet because I have f prime of tangent of pi over 4. Now, I need to figure out what this numerical value is because I can't have f prime hanging around in this answer. Tangent of pi over 4 is 1. So now I have g prime of pi over 4 is equal to f prime of 1 times secant square of pi over 4. F prime of 1 means I gotta simplify this here. Not pretty. But that's going to be x squared minus 3x minus 10. So f prime of 1 is 1 minus 3 minus 10, which gives us negative 12. So then g prime of pi over 4 is negative 12 times secant square of pi over 4. Now, if you do not trust your ability to subtract 1 minus 3 minus 10, then you could write it as 1 minus 3 minus 10 times secant square of pi over 4. Now, you'll also notice that I have 1 minus 3 minus 10 in parentheses, because if you don't, then this is saying 1 minus 3, then minusing 10 times secant square of pi over 4. And we don't want that, because this right here would not give you, this right here would not give you full credit. But using parentheses will. All right, so that is it in terms of FRQ 7. We are going to do FRQ 8, and that's going to be my last one for FTC Part 2.